I'm Michael. I'm a small business owner. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm an investor, work in process, occasionally funny improv artist. I'm a speaker, and I'm always very, very neurotic. I'm a TV host, and I'm your host for what we call the Second Scene Podcast. It is a Dweebs global production where we give free mentorship help. We're around the world. We have free mentors in every language, completely confidential, completely free. It is called dweebsglobal.org. So I am here today with Jenni. Jenni was a fashion designer for 15 years, working throughout the world, places such as Japan, Europe, the States, and many others. She has also had the opportunity to work with musicians, including Marilyn Manson, Snoop Dogg, and Bono. Everything changed when she lost her hearing and had to get hearing aids. She didn't feel herself when wearing them, and that's when she came up with her new company called DeafMetal. She's wearing them right now. I'm sure she'll show us and she'll describe what they are, but let me get a little more backstory before we get into that. I actually was with my father last night, and he wears hearing aids in both of his ears, and he has like 80% loss of hearing. But he got this little device that he puts in the middle of the table now, and he can hear directionally from the people at the table. He can set the microphone to kind of point in different places. So it was like me and two other people. And it was like the first time in many years that we had an easy conversation in a noisy restaurant. It was a miracle device. Have you had experience with those or?
Yeah. I didn't have any experience when I got my hearing aids in 2018. But after that, when I jumped into the world of hard of hearing people, I've seen the most of the different kind of machines, devices that people can have. And there is many.
It's amazing. And they keep getting better. So I know he keeps upgrading. Every 2 years, he gets a new hearing aid and you can hear slightly more. So how did you go deaf?
I'd like to say, in a way, to be a good example, that it was because of noise pollution. 20 years ago, I was playing in a rock band in a cellar. It was a too small room. Nobody was wearing any plugs in their earring, and it was just like really bad rock music that we were doing. And that was one thing that, of course, led to the fact that I needed to get my hearing aids. I needed to get my ears fixed earlier. But the fact is that when I was a child, I had some problem in my ear, in the ear bone. I don't know the word in English, but you have the ear bone, the hearing bone there. Mm-hmm. And it didn't grow like it was supposed to. And nobody knew that. I mean, like nobody knew that I had some hearing problems. So basically what happened is that I learned how to read from the lips. And I was still hearing okay with my other ear. And then I started to play violin when I was 3 years old. And when you play violin, it's like the most damages that musicians have, they are the musicians that are playing classical instruments.
Interesting.
Yes, it is. And because, of course, there is so many of this cultural history, you wouldn't have to do any big decisions on the orchestra, how people are playing and who is playing in front of who. And, but the cultural history of orchestra, how it is put there on the stage, it's there. And it's very hard to touch on that. How the musicians are there. But anyway, so I think that the violin playing was one problem that I had because my left ear has like really, really serious problems. And I ended up playing the violin when I was 16, when I started to get interest on boys and red wine. And then when I turned 20, my violin turned into a microphone, and then I started to sing. So basically, I've had this noise pollution all my life. Right. But also, there is my mother has a hearing aid also. So it comes in a genes. My grandmother should have had a hearing aid, but she never did. And so it's like
so there's something.
I knew that I was eventually going to get it, but I didn't know that I was going to be this young.
Gotcha. You're still young. We're both young. So you were born with a DNA, something that runs in your family, and then you exacerbated it. with your rock and roll lifestyle.
Yeah. Yeah. But you know, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
But this is something that I'm trying to like affect on people, that I'm really going, you know, DeafMetal is not just a collection of jewelry for hearing aids. The thing that we are trying to do also is to tell people about, you know, the noise pollution. That if you think about yourself, or if you think about your children, or, you know, your friends, everybody is always, all the time, walking with the earplugs in their ears. They're listening music or books or whatever. But the noise pollution is like serious problem. And I read a study when I lost my hearing from World Health Organization, and they estimated that the hearing loss is going to double by the end of 2050. I mean, like in 30 years. So basically my 13-year-old son, when he's my age, he will probably have a hearing loss, because he's, you know, he's having, you know, all the time he's having something in his ears. So. Right.
So just a pair of like AirPods, if you just have it at a normal, not loud sound level, does it still cause damage?
If it's normal, then of course it's natural that it doesn't. But when you just listen all the time, and you kind of tease your ears all the time, you cannot feel when it's getting, you know, worse and worse and worse, until you kind of feel, until you realize in a conversation that you're becoming a wallflower. You can't, you know, participate in a conversations anymore. That happened to me. I suddenly kind of realized it. And the eardrum that I had in my other ear, in my better ear, when it like exploded a few years ago, and then I had just the really bad ear, then I realized that how bad my hearing actually is.
So did it suddenly exploded?
Yeah. It was like in the movies. In the middle of the night, I suddenly wake up into the fact that there is coming this blood of my ears.
Really?
And in the movies, you know, when you're, you know, when you have blood bleeding in your ears, you're probably going to die.
Right.
Yeah, but I had a flu. So I was just like sneezing or something while I was sleeping, and then it just exploded. And yeah.
And that was it. You pretty much have no hearing in that ear at this point?
I have now. It started to heal, but it didn't heal like to the stage that it was before. And then I went to the doctor, and they almost operated it. And then it didn't start to heal. And then he told me that, okay, it was obvious that you are going to get hearing aids at some point. So why not, you know, just get it now, because you have some problems with your hearing. So we just did it.
Right. Yeah, I saw my father's hearing definitely deteriorated over time. He lost it because when he was younger, he was in the National Guard and they were firing rifles without earplugs, but it didn't have the immediate effect. As he got older, he just deteriorated a lot faster because of the abuse from when he was younger. So
yeah.
So I understand how that works. And I also saw him kind of retreating from conversations and from what's going on. I feel bad for him when he has to, you know, walk away or leave the room because he can't hear people. People can't remember to talk louder or talk at him. Like you, he can read lips, but that only works to a certain extent, as you know as well. Yeah. So, but so I understand a lot of what you're saying. You've gone through from watching him.
Yeah, and the fact that when you stop from hearing other people, it's like you have this social stigma when you can't participate anymore. But then you start to find you start to, you know, in a funny way, you start to keep yourself stupid because you can't participate anymore. You can't, you know, you feel in a crowd when you're trying to have a conversation, you start to feel like, okay, it's better for me to leave the room because I don't want to just stand here and like act so that I seem like I'm hearing what you are saying. So that is one. That is a bad thing. And many of the people of the hard of hearing people that I've been talking to, their self-esteem is like has gotten lower because other people, when they have to ask all the time, what did you say? Other people start to keep them as dumb people because you have to always say the second or third time what you were trying to ask or anything. And now that I have the hearing aids, I told to my children that I can hear them thoughts. I can hear them thinking, because, you know, it's like, these are really, really sharp. I think that my hearing is nowadays better than yours.
Nice. Bionic.
Yes.
How is it with like ambient noise? I know my father's always had that problem when there's music in a restaurant and we're eating. That always makes it a little harder because his hearing aids could never fully drown that out compared to the people at the table.
Yes, they do.
Oh, they do? They work? It does it?
They do nowadays, yeah.
Okay.
So basically, if I'm sitting in front of three people, mm-hmm. and I don't like the things that you are, you know, mingling with the other person, mm-hmm. I can just, you know, I have an app in my telephone where I can just measure, I can just move my hearing into this third person. They are brilliant, the machines nowadays. I can take phone calls, I can listen to music with my mm-hmm. with my hearing aids, and they are just, you know, and if I lose them after a long night having a red wine somewhere, mm-hmm. and then I can just find them with like find my iPhone, but find my hearing aids. That's a little bit embarrassing to call to the taxi center that I know that my hearing aids are in that taxi, in that area, in that side of town. I need to get them back.
Oh no. That's when you know you drank too much that night.
No, that's actually something that maybe your father is also has some experience on. I can put them louder and I can put them more quiet, but the brain can't take that much information if you're used to the fact that there is mostly silence. So sometimes I get like really bad headaches if I'm just because of that, you know, the noise is just too much. There is like some annoying person in that cafeteria, you know, with a spoon and with a teacup, and it's like, and so, but I can also erase, you know, when I'm driving the car and I have the 3 children in the back and they are always, and they have this like really, really high noise. I can just erase my children.
Oh my God. I could use that on trips. Every parent's dream.
So there is many good benefits in losing your hearing.
But you're bionic. You have bionic hearing. I know my father plays online card games with his friends now that it's COVID and stuff, and he didn't realize that when he went to go use the bathroom the other day, they could hear him peeing.
Yeah. But it was the first time when I tried before I went to get the hearing aids, I tried my mother's hearing aids. Now, of course, they are personalized for you. You know, the audiologists, they measure the things that how bad is your hearing. And my mother was like pressuring me to try them just to make me see how bad my hearing is. And I was sitting in the back of her antique shop in the middle of Helsinki, and all the doors were closed. But when I put the hearing aid on, and I suddenly heard the traffic outside, you know, even though the 2 doors were closed. And I just started to cry when I realized that, oh my God, like I have this bad hearing that I didn't know that there was like these kind of noises and, you know, voices in the world. So yeah, but it's amazing. And this is one thing why I'm amazed why people, if they notice that they've lost their hearing, that they don't hear that well anymore, it can take up from 5 to 10 years before they go to the doctor. And this is very interesting, because if you can't see, you go to the doctor and you get yourself eyeglasses, because nobody wants you to drive your car without, you know, seeing well. But if you have a bad hearing, it's like, it's invisible. Nobody can see that. But why can't you do anything about it? Is it because of the hearing aid stigma? Is it because you feel like I don't want to wear any medical, you know, like devices in my ears? Maybe, I don't know, but that's like something that needs to be fixed.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure people you don't realize that you're losing hearing, I'm sure, for the first little while. I know when I can wear glasses and everything gets brighter and clearer. And I didn't realize that things had gotten dull until I put on glasses and was like, oh my God.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So then you've created this company, DeafMetal, DEAF, and then metal.com, DeafMetal. And you want to describe it?
I've had the AIDS for 4 days in my ears. And it was my first day off from work. And I went to my workshop, and it's quite common for people who are working in the fashion field, or, every time if I buy a handbag or if I buy some even shoes, I need to tune them up a little bit, just to make them look a bit more like they are my shoes. Mm-hmm. And so the same thing happened with the hearing aids, and that's only natural because they looked like disgusting. They medical looking devices. I needed to do something to make them more like me. And so I took the hearing aids from my ears and put them on a table. And I've been using in my career, I've been using a lot of like really, really thin reindeer leather, though. So that was a familiar material to me. And so I wanted to invent something around the hearing aid that doesn't make any nuisance, that doesn't make any sound. So leather seemed to be a perfect material for it. And so I designed a little like a glove around it. And then I put some like a metal string in there where I could put some like chains, and I put some leather stripes there, which I connected into my ear. And they basically looked like a earring, which were a little bit like bigger because they went into the back of the ear also. And I remember the moment, and my stepdaughter also remembers the moment when she came to the workshop, and I just made the innovation from leather. I call it a holster. And she said that when she came there, she saw it in my face that, oh my God, that, and she has told me afterwards, that it was like the face, the smile on your face was like this is like really amazing. Because when I put them on, when I was wearing it, they didn't feel like hearing aids anymore. They felt like jewelry, and not just any jewelry. I mean, like fucking awesome jewelry. Sorry, but it was just because they were not hearing aids anymore. And then it was Saturday daytime when I made the first leather holster and the first jewelry. And I told to my husband, we were just about to go to sauna with the children, and it was 9 o'clock in the evening, and I told him that, could you please take a picture of my ear, because it's really, really hard to take a picture of your own ear. So he was like, come on, who is going to watch your Instagram or Facebook, 9 o'clock in the evening? That people have better things to do than just read stories how you come out of the closet and tell that you have hearing aids. And I was like, no, I gotta do this. This is like awesome, that you don't understand how this feels, that they are not medical devices anymore. They are like earrings. And then he took the picture, and they went to sauna, and I started to stare at my phone with the towel in my other hand. And I started, those red dots that you getting into your phone when somebody likes or something happens there. Mm-hmm. They just kept on coming and coming and coming. And then I went to sauna, and I was there like 2 minutes, and told them I really, really need to go back and see that I feel like something really happened now. And there was 220,000 views only in Finland. And I got the first interview on Saturday night, which was on with the Messenger, that can we make a story? It's like a tabloid in Finland. And I was like, okay, so by a total accident, I managed to design something that the hearing aid business sector doesn't have at all. So, after that, it was like it has been like amazing. It was just one small innovation, one small holster made of leather. We do it nowadays, we do it from silicone because it's more stretchy, and there is many different sizes of hearing aids. So basically I needed to, this is like a cochlear implant. It's like really, really big. Mm-hmm. And this is a little bit smaller. And then you have like I will give you the smallest one. So basically, this is really small.
Got you. So people that are listening, she's showing me all the different types of hearing aids, and they really are pretty big. Some of them are pretty big. I mean, I guess we've all seen them out in the public too, when you see people wearing them. I just can't imagine. I'm trying to imagine what an amazing feeling that had to have been, because going from probably not being able to accept that you had to wear hearing aids to being excited that you were putting these on and you were showing these off, and you were like so comfortable in yourself. I'm sure people that first start having to wear hearing aids are just not comfortable with themselves, knowing that people are going to look at them or, you know, think something's wrong or all those things.
Yeah, and people grow hair over the hearing aids so that other people can see them. You know, there is a huge, the main problem that my product, that DeafMetal, solves is the hearing aid stigma. I mean, not all hearing device users are suffering from hearing aid stigma, but some are. And that's kind of huge thing that it really, like, I mean, we're talking about self-esteem. We're talking about the thing that people need to be embarrassed about themselves because they don't want to even show the machines. But this is also something that we're trying to fix here. I started to think that why people feel so ashamed about the hearing aids. If you compare it to, you know, eyeglasses. Yeah,
that's so true. I never even thought about that. But what's the difference?
Yeah,
there shouldn't be.
Yeah. So if you have like a bad eyesight, you get to choose whatever kind of eyeglass is suiting for your own style. But if you have a hearing problem, you're stuck with these ugly looking machines for the rest of your life. And this is the thing that DeafMetal does. I mean, like, you have the little holster, the thing, it's just like a really small 2 centimeters of like silicone, which has a little hole in the end. And then we have like different kind of jewelry, a lot of different kind of jewelry, which just fits to your own genre or style or whatever you want to call it. So basically it's very simple, and that's the reason why it's working. But yeah, so I started to think that why people feel ashamed about it. And one thing is that you can't see hearing aids anywhere. I mean, if you think about fashion magazines or beauty magazines or lifestyle magazines, you can't see any model anywhere wearing a hearing aid, but you can see eyeglasses. So with my history being a fashion designer, we've been doing a lot of photo shooting. So this is what we are doing now. We're just taking beauty shots and fine art pictures from hard of hearing people who are wearing hearing aids. I mean, like sexy pictures and you know, like beautiful pictures, beauty shots, and like fashion pictures where people are just, you know, as gorgeous as as usual in those pictures, but with a little side effect. They are wearing hearing aids in those pictures. And we only shoot, I mean, like authentic hard of hearing people, and not any, you know, like wannabe hard of hearing.
You're not just hiring models to put on a hearing aid. Well, I think that's amazing. I think they look cool, and that's amazing.
Yeah, thank you. Me too. And it's amazing that nobody did it before.
That is what's so wild, that nobody was like, maybe we should make these look attractive. Maybe we should.
Yeah, like now I'm designing a collection to South Africa and to Australia. Two totally different kind of collections. And we are making from the beginning. I mean, like before, as a designer, I was doing only high-end fashion, quite expensive fashion. But now, when I started to do these, I wanted my designs, all DeafMetals, to be affordable, so that anyone can buy them. And you need to buy only one holster, which is the holder for the jewelry, and then you can buy just the simple jewelry that you want for your.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, yeah. It's interesting that you come from the high fashion industry, because they're very judgmental.
Yeah, but I think that I could have never imagined myself like 3-4 years ago designing like pink owls or golden stars or these little, you know, like rainbow unicorns, or I never thought about that. But when I noticed the problem, and you know how we get a lot of feedback from customers, they even take selfies, which they sent to me, and they are like really, really thankful for for the solution that they ordered from our online shop. I mean, like they don't even, they order it from Finland. They don't know, you know, who is the designer or anything, but they put me email. And, you know, it's amazing, but that tells something that it is really like needed, the thing. And that is the reason why I kind of, I don't miss doing that high-end design anymore, because now I feel like my designs actually help too. They are not just that superficial, you know, like you go somewhere into some gala for one night and you use your black leather bow tie and you just look so cool. And, you know,
right.
So where is the like content on that? There is no content. I don't want to discriminate fashion or fashion designers. I do not want to do that, but I found my mission.
Right. You definitely have. And now you're designing for the masses now rather than the few.
Yeah.
I do want to ask you about that though, what that was like back when you did stage costumes, right? For bands?
Yeah.
For musicians. How was that? What was it like working with people like Marilyn Manson and Bono?
We're talking about networking, and we're talking about knowing, you know, right people. I've never had the thing that I would be embarrassed, or, you know, if I need to get in contact with somebody, I'm just doing everything I can to get in touch with that person. I don't have the kind of a, you know, shame, or it was not built in my family to me or my brother. It was
right.
like, we just talk. I mean, like we don't just talk. We do everything that we can to meet those people. But it was great, and I still do some stage clothing because they are unique designs, and in a way it keeps up my like profile as a designer also. So it gives me, in a way, this kind of street credibility, especially if I have another label called DeafMetal. So in a way, that's like it's a good combination of things. But yes, of course, it was great. And I have a story about Marilyn Manson, how, well, I have a very long story. Well, actually, I have many stories about him. But an example about that, when I put my G-Tie was my previous label. It is still alive, but I don't actively work with G-Tie. DeafMetal is my main focus now. But I had like 2 papers. And in the other paper, I wrote people which were Finnish celebrities and Finnish musicians that I could see my designs on. And the other paper was from abroad, from the people, for international musicians. And Marilyn Manson was the top. It was there, number 1. I've always admired him. Well, nowadays I'm not that sure anymore because there's a lot of shitty things going on, you know, with that. But anyway, then as a visualist, his aesthetics, everything was just like, so I felt like related to him some funny way. But he was the first one. When you want to have something and you kind of say it aloud, or you write it down into the paper, I didn't have that much effort, for example, towards Marilyn Manson. I just met the right kind of people who were the same style that I was. And then eventually I got in there. But it was just because of the people that I met were working in the music industry. I have been a singer and very into music for all of my life. So everything that has happened, it was very natural. And it's just like a proof that if you want to go somewhere, I mean, like you don't have to, you know, if you just kind of let it flow, you can actually get there.
Right.
I mean, you know, if you're getting.
No, I understand what you're saying. It sounds like that's how everything you've done has come to fruition. I mean, even the hearing aid jewelry, like that just something just naturally came. It sounds like everything else you've done has naturally come as well. You just you go to you take the next step, no matter what that step is, without hesitating. Yeah.
But there was like, for example, with Marilyn Manson, I had a German friend who was our his name is Itamar Zekoval. And Itamar is a person who is a clothing designer also. And he had a brand called Dandy of the Grotesque in Berlin. And I went to Berlin many times. I mean, with my friends 10 years ago. We took a flight there once a year, and we went to Eastern Berlin and got shit-faced and just, we're having fun. And then I knew that Itamar, I knew the brand Dandy of the Grotesque. And I wanted to go and visit him. I didn't know anything about him. The only thing I knew was that he has a very good style. And the things that he does, they are really cool. And so I went there all by myself, took a taxi and went there and trying to search for his workshop. I remember just when I saw the door, I stood on a dog shit. It was like really warm and just like really fresh. Oh. And I was like, oh no, like I'm going to meet this like fashion designer who is like Dandy of the Grotesque. And now I just bumped into this dog shit in the street.
Oh, that's terrible.
It was terrible, but anyway, so, it was just dog shit. So then I went in and I told that I've been, I wasn't following him or anything. I just decided that next time when I go to Berlin, I want to meet him. And then I went there and we became really, really good friends with Itamar. And I didn't know that he was doing Marilyn Manson also. Okay. I thought that he was doing like all these German bands, but I didn't know that he was doing Marilyn Manson. I was doing the costume design for this movie called Iron Sky.
Oh, wow.
And I needed a helping hand to do with me to get into the job. And I told Itamar that would he like to be my colleague in doing the costume design? And he was like, yeah, I really want to do that. And then I told Itamar that about my feelings towards Marilyn Manson. So if you come to work for me, maybe you can do something. And that's how it kind of started out, the whole collaboration with Marilyn Manson. But I had no idea in Berlin, while I was in Berlin, that I was going that way. I was going to get Marilyn Manson. No.
Gotcha. Yeah, you do a little trading.
yeah, but that's how it goes. I mean, yeah.
Well, that is really cool. How is it? Who was your favorite to work with? Who was your favorite celebrity you've gotten to work with?
I have to say Snoop Dogg.
Really?
Yeah, just because he was so, for the first time, we had to go through, there was like these 3 different security zones that we needed to go through. And now when we got into the heart of the area after these like giant black security guys, so it was like they were also stoned.
Exactly what you imagined.
Yes, but in a way, I mean, like I've never seen anything like that. And I think I've seen much, but thinking about him going on stage on that mindset was kind of creepy. I could never do that. I never even drank a beer when I went on stage because I couldn't, because I needed to be like sharp and, and
I think everyone reacts differently to drinking and to pot. And I think we do. I think we all act there. I think Snoop Dogg gets motivated and wants to get out there. I want to go lie on a couch and eat some chips.
Yeah. It's what you get used to. Mm-hmm. I mean, maybe it would have been a nightmare if he wouldn't have been stoned.
Right. Well, thank you so much. This has been super interesting. I definitely want to let people know where they can find you, and that's at deafmetal.com, DeafMetal.com. Is there anywhere else that people can find you or find your jewelry?
Yeah, well, basically we have a main domain, which is deafmetal.com. But if you're living in US, we have a deafmetalusa.com. My partner is having her own online shop there. And he has the whole US territory, and she's also doing Canada. And so that is if you're living in there, but DeafMetal.store is our here in Europe. But if you go to DeafMetal.com, you can find everything there.
Okay, well, we'll definitely put the links below the podcast so that people can find you. Thanks again, Jenni. This has been a Dweebs Global production where you can go for free mentorship help. We have mentors from around the world. We help with everything from mental health to resume writing and everything in between. So dweebsglobal.org. It's free and it's confidential. See ya and hear y'all next week.